They tell you how to survive a war. They drill it into your head until it becomes muscle memory. But they never tell you how to survive coming home. It's been 5 years since that moonless night at Firebase Echo. 5 years since the sand turned red. 5 years since I held Staff Sergeant Elias Vance as the light faded from his eyes. I am back in Ohio now, the same small town I left. To everyone else, I am Corporal Jenkins, a hero who made it back. But when I look in the mirror, all I see is the blood on my hands. The world moved on, but for me, the calendar is permanently stuck on November. Every night, the ceiling fan sounds like the blades of a dust-off chopper. Every loud noise is a mortar shell. And every time I close my eyes, I hear his rough Texas drawl, "You did good, kid. You hold the line." Survivor's guilt is a heavy rucksack. It drags you down into the dark a little more every day. Thanksgiving was approaching again. The exact same week we were supposed to rotate out all those years ago. I couldn't take the silence anymore. I couldn't sit at a dinner table and pretend everything was fine. I had something that didn't belong to me. On that night, before the medics took his body away, I had pulled the unit patch off Sergeant Vance's vest. I had carried it in my pocket every single day since. I packed a single bag, got into my truck, and pointed the headlights south. I was going to Texas. I needed to find his family. I needed to look his mother, his father in the eyes and tell them I was sorry. Sorry that I was the one holding the M240 machine gun, but I couldn't shoot fast enough. Sorry that I lived and he didn't. The drive took 2 days. I pulled up to a dusty ranch just outside of Austin. The mailbox said, "Vance." My hands were shaking so bad I could barely turn off the ignition. An older man stepped out onto the porch. He had the same broad shoulders, the same piercing eyes. It was Elias's father, a Vietnam veteran himself. He looked at me, looked at my truck with the Marine Corps sticker, and he just knew. I couldn't hold it in anymore. 5 years of tears, 5 years of nightmares broke through the dam. I fell to my knees in the Texas dirt, right there in his front yard. "I'm sorry," I sobbed. I was right next to him. I tried to stop the bleeding, but there was too much. I should have saved him. I should have done more. The old man walked down the steps. He didn't yell. He didn't look at me with hate. He just knelt down, put his rough hands on my shoulders, and pulled me to my feet. "Come inside, Sarah," he whispered. "There's someone you need to see." I walked into the living room, wiping the dirt from my face. Sitting at the kitchen table wasn't just Vance's family. There was a young man sitting there holding a cup of coffee. He stood up when I walked in. It was Miller, Private Miller, the 19-year-old kid who had frozen under fire. The kid sergeant. He wasn't a scared kid anymore. He was a grown man. He walked over to me, tears shining in his eyes, and wrapped his arms around me. "You came," Miller said. "Every Thanksgiving I come here to be with his family. We were hoping you'd find your way here someday." I looked at Miller, then at Vance's father. I didn't understand. The old man walked over to a shelf and pulled out a stack of letters. "Elias wrote us every week," his father said. "In his last letter, he wrote about you, Sarah. He handed me a piece of paper." The handwriting was messy, written in a combat zone. It read, "Dad, there's this kid from Ohio in my squad. Jenkins. She's the toughest Marine I've ever met. If things go sideways out here, I don't worry. because I know Jenkins will hold the line so the rest of us can get home. I read those words over and over until the ink blurred. I had spent 5 years believing I had failed him, but he never thought I failed. He gave his life so Miller could live, and he trusted me to protect the rest of the base. If I hadn't stayed on that gun, if I hadn't kept firing, the perimeter would have fallen. Dozens of Marines would have died. Vance didn't die for nothing. He died doing exactly what a leader does, and he left me behind to carry the weight. I reached into my pocket and pulled out the blood-stained patch. I placed it in his father's hand. For the first time in 5 years, the heavy rucksack on my soul lifted. The war doesn't end when you leave the battlefield, but you don't have to fight it alone. You survive by leaning on the brothers and sisters who stood in the fire with you. I looked out at the Texas sunset, feeling the warm breeze on my face. We're okay, Sergeant. Miller is safe. Your family is safe. Video created by Subedi 1M Rock